reviews on YouTube are, there are people out there who say that I don't like anybody in WWE. There are a handful of individuals, believe it or not, in WWE who I actually like and who I actually find time to support. And Daniel Bryan is one of those wrestlers who I find time within to support and want to give the benefit of the doubt to, because Daniel Bryan has exemplified a lot of exuberance and a lot of perseverance to get to a pivotal point in his career. I think that Daniel Bryan, if they don't come up with things for Daniel Bryan to do when he's out of the ring, I think Daniel Bryan needs to come to a pivotal point in his career where he needs to decide whether or not he's going to come back full time or he's going to retire, because I know there's a lot of speculation surrounding Daniel Bryan and the possibility that he could be retiring in a few months. And obviously that promo led us to believe that Daniel Bryan's career is obviously over. So I think he needs to come to a pivotal point, even if they don't find things for Daniel Bryan to do outside of the ring, being a wrestler all the time. I think he needs to decide whether or not he's coming back or if he's going to announce his retirement. And I hope that he handles his retirement more professionally than what some of the divas have and some of the wrestlers of the past have, taking to Twitter to announce the retirements. We all know about the controversy surrounding AJ Lee's retirement, how she took to Twitter to announce her retirement. I found that to be very unprofessional and very childish on the behalf of AJ to go and do that. And I think that people like John Cena and Daniel Bryan, if in fact John Cena is going to be leaving after he puts over a substantial amount of NXT superstars and passes the proverbial torch just as The Undertaker did for him back in 2001, 2002, I think that people like John Cena and Daniel Bryan can't go away without explaining to fans why they are going away. So I hope that when that time comes for their careers, when they get to that pivotal point, they come out and they handle the retirements more professionally than what people of the past have done, and more especially the divas who have handled their retirements very unprofessionally, going to Twitter. I can't tell you how much I hate when wrestlers and celebrities go to Twitter to handle their retirements and put it out there rather than coming out in public in front of thousands announcing the retirement. You have to go ahead and give Daniel Bryan credit where credit is due, because nobody has exemplified so much dedication to what they love to do as much as what Daniel Bryan has. And if you have to substitute someone for a John Cena or a Randy Orton, then obviously someone that you can substitute these people with in the way of John Cena and Randy Orton's is Daniel Bryan, because Daniel Bryan has exemplified a great deal of passion and love for what he wants to do. And how can you not help but support Daniel Bryan? I mean, honest to God, you just have to give Daniel Bryan support where he deserves support. I was shocked when I heard the news of Daniel Bryan coming out on Raw and dropping the Intercontinental Championship. Even more so shocked that they're going to be doing the Elimination Chamber match to determine the next Intercontinental Champion. We have a diverse amount of superstars in this chamber match. Can't explain to you why. Somebody explained to me why Rusev is in this match. R-Truth, King Barrett is in there. Sheamus is in there as well. We have a great deal of international flavor being presented for the Intercontinental Championship Elimination Chamber match. Was shocked at both Daniel Bryan contemplating his future and the announcement of the Intercontinental title being determined in the chamber match because of the emotion that went behind it. They were kind of teasing it with promos from Brie Bella, backstage interviews in her feud with Naomi, where Naomi said nobody cared about her or her husband and what they were going through. So obviously they were implying that something was going to be done with the future of Daniel Bryan and the Intercontinental Championship. We got the answer to that. They were kind of teasing it. There was a lot of speculation as to why Brie Bella is involved in this storyline. Obviously, because it's no longer kayfabe, they are involved in a personal relationship outside of WWE. I can't tell you whether or not I agree with Brie Bella being involved in this, because I think it should be left up to Daniel Bryan, because Daniel Bryan owes wrestling fans an explanation. He needs to come out of that pivotal point in his career where he decides whether or not he's going to stay with WWE in some kind of different role outside of the ring until he comes back, or he's going to have to decide whether or not he's going to come back or not and announce to us officially whether or not he's going to be retiring, like so many have done in the past, Shawn Michaels and Edge, because of different situations that have befallen them in their careers. Whether or not Brie Bella being involved in this is a good idea, I really don't know. Obviously, it's a way of pushing Brie Bella, especially if one of the Bella twins is opposed to both. The Bella twins are going to be leaving by SummerSlam. Obviously, this is a way for WWE to try to push talent like Brie Bella in a more probable direction, even more so because she's not a contender for the Divas Championship. But whether or not I agree with that, I really don't know. How do you feel about different parties being involved in Daniel Bryan's retirement, obviously, from WWE for the time being? Do you think that Brie Bella sort of fits in here appropriately, or do you think that Daniel Bryan should have it left up to him to how he handles his retirement? I really appreciate how Daniel Bryan came out in an in-ring promo in front of thousands and dropped the Intercontinental Championship, as many wrestlers in the past have done. Shawn Michaels I was willing to do that because one of the things that this Intercontinental Championship promo put me in mind of when Daniel Bryan left the Intercontinental title in the ring was when Shawn Michaels lost his smile back in 1997. He lost the championship the previous year in 1996's Survivor Series main event to Psycho Sid. He comes out a couple of months after at the Royal Rumble in San Antonio after suffering from an injury, comes back, wins the title, and then has to drop the title less than a month after winning it when he loses his smile. And that's why I think that Daniel Bryan is sort of a mirror image of Shawn Michaels, just as Dean Ambrose is being compared to being a mirror image of Brian Pillman. It seems like everything that happened to Shawn Michaels is slowly but surely, maybe not happening as fast for Daniel Bryan, but it's slowly but surely happening for Daniel Bryan, just as it did for Shawn Michaels. And the funny thing about it is Daniel Bryan was actually trained by Shawn Michaels, and it gives me even more of a reason to be convinced that Daniel Bryan's career is almost a mirror image of the career of Shawn Michaels. So many injuries, one after another for Shawn Michaels, from back injuries to concussions to knee injuries. Daniel Bryan with neck injuries nobody knows what the diagnosis is of. I mean, really, Daniel Bryan's career is a picture-perfect mirror image of a career of Shawn Michaels, and that's why I think that Daniel Bryan versus Shawn Michaels has been a dream match of wrestling fans and even myself for years. I mean, it's been talked about whatever would happen if Daniel Bryan faced Bret Hart in a match between two wrestling submission specialists. But what would ever happen if Shawn Michaels, who outperformed Bret Hart and had more five-star matches than what Bret Hart ever did, especially the matches between Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, what would ever happen if Shawn Michaels faced Daniel Bryan, especially with how they know each other so well, and that promo where Shawn Michaels forced Daniel Bryan to shake his hand, and Daniel Bryan reluctantly wanted to shake the hand of his trainer because, damn it, he believed he was Shawn Michaels. Daniel Bryan goes from not wanting to shake the hand of Shawn Michaels into locking him in the Yes Lock. I think that would be a great WrestleMania match, and it would put Mr. WrestleMania and Daniel Bryan, the leader of the Yes Movement, on display at its finest. I think there are a lot of questions to be answered if Shawn Michaels ever faced Daniel Bryan, even more so because their careers are mirror images of one another. And it's a match that I think people would just love to see on pay-per-view. Whether or not it would be at WrestleMania, I really don't know. I wouldn't care where it would happen, what the venue would be for it, what the circumstances of the match would take place under would be. I just want to see Shawn Michaels versus Daniel Bryan because their careers are mirror images of one another. I want to get your opinion on Daniel Bryan forfeiting the Intercontinental Championship, who you think will be the next Intercontinental Champion. We have 6 possibilities for the next Intercontinental Champion. A few between the new Intercontinental Champion and Daniel Bryan down the road would be perfect for the Intercontinental Championship division. The good thing about having champions like Daniel Bryan was the fact that we would get the chance to see the Intercontinental title defended more so than if anybody that we really didn't know anything about were Intercontinental Champion. We have a lot of possibilities to be the next Intercontinental Champion because of this Intercontinental Championship Elimination Chamber match that has been announced for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. The first time ever in every Elimination Chamber match we have seen over the years in the history of the Chamber since its inception in 2002. The Intercontinental title is going to be defended. We have every possibility from R-Truth to Sheamus to King Barrett to Dolph Ziggler, all in this match. Even Rusev is in there, coming off the loss of his U.S. title at WrestleMania to John Cena and the end of the John Cena-Rusev feud, opening up the door for John Cena versus Kevin Owens for NXT Champion versus U.S. Champion John Cena. I think that there's a lot of potentiality that goes with this chamber match. My pick to win the Intercontinental title is Rusev because he needs momentum after dropping Lana from his character's gimmick and losing the U.S. Championship, and especially because we have U.S. Champion versus NXT Champion at Elimination Chamber 2 weeks after the feud between Rusev and John Cena had its final chapter at Payback in the I Quit match, which I remember seeing video clips on posted on WWE's Facebook page. So because Rusev is coming off the loss of the U.S. title, that's what I'm going with in this match, and I applaud WWE for an international flavor being presented in the Intercontinental Championship Elimination Chamber match. We have Russians, we have Americans, we have so many people in this Intercontinental Championship match. British people are being represented in this match also with Wade Barrett, and there's so much international flavor being presented in this Intercontinental Championship Elimination Chamber match, one of the biggest matches on the pay-per-views card, and probably one of the biggest Elimination Chamber matches we could see in years. And I think it's just great how the Intercontinental title is being defended in the chamber match in the backdrop of info with Daniel Bryan's career having uncertainty surrounding it and kind of overshadowing everything else going on in WWE. I think it's great that this backstory is there, and that's the reason behind the Intercontinental Championship Elimination Chamber match we have on the card for this year's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, which looks slapped together, but the Intercontinental Championship Elimination Chamber match could make up for the lackluster card we are seeing at Elimination Chamber this year, because we really don't have much to fall back on. John Cena versus Kevin Owens, can't say that entertains me because it doesn't. Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose, I'm looking forward to finding out whether or not Dean Ambrose is going to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. That's probably the only match on the card that entertains me. But when you talk about chamber matches this year, everything from tag team turmoil inside the chamber, the Intercontinental Chamber match is the match that really interests me out of all the chamber matches we're going to be seeing this year at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, especially with the backdrop of info on Daniel Bryan and the uncertainty of his future with WWE. But I really think that we're going to be seeing Daniel Bryan again. When, where, and how, and under what circumstances Daniel Bryan will reemerge in WWE, I really don't know. But I don't think we have seen the last of the leader of the Yes Movement, especially after that incredible year we saw from Daniel Bryan in 2014 and how he put over winning the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania 31 earlier this year as probably the greatest moment of his entire career, because it was the one title that had eluded him his entire career in WWE since debuting from NXT Season 1 in 2010. We've had 5 years of Daniel Bryan, and it's been an incredible ride to the top for Daniel Bryan. I remember when Daniel Bryan was fired originally in that angle with the Nexus when they invaded Raw, and how infuriated Shawn Michaels was about Daniel Bryan being fired. Within a few short weeks, Daniel Bryan was brought back to WWE because of the frustration exemplified from Shawn Michaels. He went to Triple H and questioned Triple H's motivation for firing Daniel Bryan after applying an illegal chokehold on one of the announcers during the Nexus invasion on Raw in 2010 after Season 1 of NXT had finalized. Daniel Bryan comes over to WWE a few weeks after being fired, and ever since debuting in WWE in 2010 after NXT Season 1 was finalized, Daniel Bryan goes to the top, winning every major title from the U.S. title to the World title to the WWE Championship to the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and now the Intercontinental title. Technically, if this is it for Daniel Bryan, he can go down in history for being one of few Grand Slam winners in WWE, with Shawn Michaels being the first Grand Slam winner in the history of WWE when he won every championship he was eligible to have competed for. Again, another huge reason why I think Shawn Michaels and Daniel Bryan's careers are mirror images of one another, and why Daniel Bryan has obviously been treated with so much respect because of how he was trained by Shawn Michaels, and he's just pretty much up the